Hey, what is happening, everyone? So we just wrapped up our training on the point of control, the POC. Amazing session. Dad showed us what a standard one looks like, what our custom one looks like, how it functions, what it is, and went through all the key elements as to why it is important and why we need to understand it and understand all the fair value things behind it, the volume, the support, the resistance, all the fun things. So enjoy this training. Don't forget, we have a live event coming up in Auckland this weekend for those on the inside with our team. Otherwise, enjoy the training, guys. We'll see you on the inside. All right. Alrighty, team. Hopefully you can hear me loud and clear. The music was blasting, but here we go. Tuesday night. Give me a thumbs up, Zeph, if you can hear me okay now. Is that better? Yes, thank you, team. Alright. Well, good evening, everyone. Tuesday team training. We're here, and I am so fired up and excited for our event coming up. I know for those of you that are not in or near around Auckland, we'll figure out an international plan eventually, but for now, this Sunday coming up, we are going live. But I'm going to quickly screen share. I'm sure all of you know it by now, but this is us this Sunday night. Please, please, please fill in the Google form. Get your names on there. It's filling up. Dad and I set up some tables this afternoon to make space for everyone because we are sitting down. We are having a meal together. We're spending some good quality community time. I'll be recording as much of those moments as I can, but for the most part, we will be at least definitely recording all of the training. So we've got that coming up this Sunday. But one more favor, guys. You probably saw the video that I posted inside of our Facebook group a little while ago. I've edited a vertical version and threw it on Instagram and on my Facebook wall. Tagged a bunch of you. Do me a favor, please go light up the comments so we can get some visibility on it. It will be so good to get a little more traction on that and help some more people figure out what we're up to here. Let me unshare my screen. Guys, tonight is going to be a whole lot of fun. Tonight we're diving into the POC, the point of control. It is an incredible indicator that a lot of us have used manually in the past, which Dad has already figured out how to program into TrendForce in a dynamic way, so it shuffles and moves for us. But it is a powerful, powerful indicator, which shows us a lot. It's actually showing us who's winning the battle between the buyers and sellers and where all that interaction and where that battleground is taking place. Important to know if we're looking to join a trend and not get stuck in the ranger danger zone. So that's enough for me. For now, I am just buzzing at the thought that we're having an event this weekend. So if you can make it work, make it work. I promise it'll be worth it. If you look, Zeph usually would be driving all the way from Taupo, which is 3.5 hours. And I know he's stoked to be in Auckland right now, so it's like 30 minutes. So no one, I think, has driven to as many events as him from far and wide and out and about. So this is going to be a great one, guys. I cannot wait to see so many of you in person. But for now, we are here, so let's be here, right? So Dad, I'm going to find you. I'm going to pin you. And we are going to dive into tonight's training. So there you go. Gotcha. Thank you for being here. Looking sharp.
I am here. Am I coming through loud and clear?
Loud and clear. I'm probably going to get told off for being too loud pretty soon. But for now, thank you. And over to you. Let's rock and roll. I'm excited.
Well, welcome. I'm going to jump in straight and share my screen. Nice to see all your faces. Now, whenever I do that, I've just got to move a few other things. Share. Hopefully that is coming through. There we go. And I've got some nice faces. I can see Mark and Zeph and Elise and Amanda. Nice to see you guys. There we go. I've put you all on my monitor. So otherwise it blocks off my screen. So everything is about the POC tonight. So Ty gave a little advert there. And you can see already a wonderful price action on the POC. So what I've done is I've turned off the indicator. So and I've even thinned that one out. And as I think I said it the other week, the way I've kind of built this indicator is I do it in blocks. And then I add the block to the main indicator, and that's how it's grown over time. And so I've taken out the POC block here, and I've added a label so there will be no confusion, POC. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We've kind of mentioned it. We're going to look at some examples, and hopefully we'll all leave with a greater understanding of what the POC is. So I'm sure you know it stands for point of control, and it's quite an important part of our strategy. So basically, it's where the highest volume has been traded. So it's the highest price level, or the greatest volume at price level that's been traded in a session. And I've set our one, in all the testing, there's so many multiple settings you can use. I just test over time, and I've found 100 bars back on the 1 minute. So if you count these bars from there and you go sideways, you should get 100. There we go. You can see in the middle, it says 100 bars back. I mean, of course, if you want more, just change to a different time frame. If you go to the 3 minute, that'll be 100 bars back. It'll be 300 minutes back, and likewise. So you can do the maths. But we can see just how effective it is. Like right now, we can see how price has really respected this area where the POC has plotted. And so let's just get into it and talk a bit more. So it's obviously very, very important for trading. I think Ty alluded to the fact that it basically tells you who is in control. I mean, this is called the point of control, POC, and it's really telling you who's in control. Are the buyers in control or the sellers in control? So if the buyer's in control, then it's obviously bullish. And if the seller's in control, it's bearish. So right now we can see there's been a slight little wrestle. The sellers were in control there, and then there was an arm wrestle. Sorry, the buyers, where the sellers have been in control. So there we go, boom, 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 boom. Sellers have had most of the control, but now the buyers are fighting back. And so we can see now prices broken above. Let's just quickly, was there a signal? There was a buy signal there. That's awesome. So, and price is now moving up. So it's great. When you get a buy signal and your entry is above the POC, is great. And likewise for a sell signal, if you've got a sell signal and price is below the POC, that's good. And so that's what I look for. I mean, the worst, it doesn't happen often, but often when you take a risky trade where it's slightly rangish and you press buy, and after you press buy, one candle later, the POC pops above you, that is the worst because you know you're in for trouble. So hopefully hasn't happened to you often. But again, it tells you who's in control. So this is often, people also call this the equilibrium point. So this is where buyers and sellers mostly agree on price. So right now on the 1 minute charts, buyers and sellers are saying that the best value is $3,319 and 12 cents for 1 ounce of gold. All right, so that was the equilibrium price, but right now buyers are saying, no, it's worth more. I'm prepared to buy more or pay more than 3,319. And so as a result, we can see that price is moving up. Obviously, it's different on different time frames. So this is on the 1 minute. We're sitting at sort of, let's call it 3,320. We can just round it off. If we went to a higher time frame, for example, the 3 minutes, we can see that's a little bit lower. We can see again, look at the wonderful price action here of how the POC, how accurate it is. We can see it ranged around there. And we can see, here we go, look at this. We can do a little bit of training. What shape is this? Can we see this wonderful W shape? So I'm just transgressing for a second, and then what I was teaching last week, whenever you get a shape like that, you always draw a trend line, and then where price breaks a trend line, we look for a signal. Then if there would have been, oh, look at that. We got a buy signal over there, but further away from the trend line. But anyway, that's just digressing slightly. I just saw that W pattern. I thought there's a great bit of teaching to put in there quickly. And so if we went up, say, to the 15 minute, we're going to see it's going to appear in a different place. So again, it's also low. Obviously, high time frames are more accurate. So again, this is showing on the 15-minute buyers in control, that the market is bearish, price moving above the POC. If we took it out to the 4-hour, I'll have to just adjust my screen. We can see this looks interesting. It's more bearish. So here we are, price broke below the POC. We can see how prices, all these key levels, prices tested where the POC is. And right now, prices broken below, but trying to move back up again. Let's just look at the daily and see where that is. So the daily 3,310, a bit lower. That's very interesting. Price, let's just pop on the indicator quickly to see what's happening. We're still in quite a strong uptrend. But we can see that price is trying to break below the POC on the daily. It said it yesterday. So Monday didn't break through. Now we're on Tuesday, price is trying to break through again, and we'll see what happens. So again, on different time frames, you're going to find it in different places. So basically, trade on the time frame you're on. As you know, I tend to look at, let's go back to the 1 minute. I tend to look at 3 time frames at once, 1, 3, and 8. It just seems to be a good ratio that works for me. And so have a look. But right now, if we're trading on the 1 minute, we can see clearly price is now broken way up. Let's just see where that's heading. That is now where we look on 1 minute on gold. Price is heading up. Wow, that's nice. So got some nice price action there. You can see, we'll come to that. It is dynamic, so it's constantly calculating. It's moved a little bit lower. But that's a great bullish run right there. So basically, it's telling you who's in control. Again, we're different on different time frames. And basically, trade, look at the time frame you're on, and that's where you're going to get your best information. Right? It's also a magnet for price action. And so price will very often return to the POC. So we see that here. So price broke away. Look, it pulled right back, went sideways, broke below, tried to pull back up like a magnet, couldn't quite get up, broke below, and then it pulled up again, spent quite a long time. How many candles is that? It spent, 11 minutes around the POC. We can see now it's moved up again. It's quite dynamic right now. And so it's a magnet for price action. Price tends to always return back to the POC. And so and then you obviously get range. When it does pull back, you often get rangy conditions where price moves around the POC. So again, you remember we have one of our rules. We say we don't trade through the POC, we trade to the POC. So at the moment, we've broken above it, so it's not an issue. But let's just say there was a buy signal down here. Well, let's have a look if we can see an example. Say there was a sell signal here. You wouldn't want to set a target on the other side of a POC. So we tend to trade to it. And so if you're trading into it, it often can be counter trend, but then that becomes your target. So many times, if I do take counter trend trades, many times my target is actually the POC. So it can be a great target. And so it is a magnet for price. Again, price will most often return there. So let's go back to that 15-minute. I think that was a good example. So we're looking at gold here. We can see again, price came to the POC, tried to break above, was pulled back, tried to break above, pulled back, broke below, came back, went above, below, above, back to the POC, and now it's bouncing off again. So we can see it is a magnet for price action and it tends to return there. And so the best thing is let's just see what the 15-minute is doing here. There's a counter trend signal. I was going to say that was going to be my last point, but when you get a counter trend signal and you're above the POC, that's often a great signal to take. And so counter trends are risky if you're a beginner trader. But if you get a counter trend signal, you're above the POC. This is a bullish counter trend signal. That means buyers are in control and are pushing price up. So that's on the 15-minute. Price has already moved up 55 pips or so. And don't take my advice and enter a trade now, but TP1 is looking probable. There's a nice bit of space here. So hopefully price is going to rise up and keep going up. So there we go. So what else did I want to say? So it's also strong. Let's turn the indicator off. It's also strong for support and resistance. So that's another key thing why the POC is so important. So we can see here that price tried to move down, and look, the POC was strong resistance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 10 minutes. Couldn't break through. Proved to be strong support there. Moved up, came back again. It proved support again, broke through. Here we go. It was proving to be resistance. Then it broke through. Now price is moving up. So when I did talk, we did a little trading a few weeks back, 2 or 3 weeks back, on support and resistance. I mentioned how important the POC is. One of the main things for support and resistance. It's also another thing that's very important for is also for pivots. So price can often hit it and bounce off. So we can see how price came down, it pivoted off, came down, tried to pivot off, couldn't, broke below, and then we got that pattern. We can also see what we've got, another pattern here. We got a nice W pattern. That was probably what we're looking at on the 3-minute. So we can see when price breaks those W patterns, just can't help myself here. We can see there, once price broke that nice W, it's moving up again. So keep looking for patterns. That was last week's training. All right, so strong for support and resistance. Also a great place for pivots. Let's just take a random 5-minute and see. You can see here again, price came up to the POC, couldn't break through, pivoted off, back down again, and spent a lot of time over there. And this time it broke straight through and went up. So if you look, let's just look at a very high time frame, 4 hours, see if we can see any pivots here. There's some great examples here. Look here, here's some good examples of a pivot. So price came, look, it pivoted off there, shot all the way down, came back, couldn't break through. This is on the 4 hour. We can see pivot off right down, price came up. This time it broke all the way through. That's rare to see. Unbroken trend going through the POC. But again, here we can see price came down, bounced around, pivoted off and up again. And right now, this is the 4 hour. Price came down to the POC, spent one, two, how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, 6 fours, that's like 24 hours. These are 4-hour candles. So spent a whole day on the POC, then broke below. It looks like it's trying to move up again. So always keep an eye on the POC. You know, it's often is the place where price does reverse and it acts as a strong pivot. So let's just take our 1 minute chart again. And so it is, generally it's considered a lagging indicator because it's measuring what has taken place. But the advantage with TrendForce that I've made it dynamic, so it's constantly changing. So let's just look how it's calculated. Let's just look at the 15 minutes. So you can calculate it undynamically. So it may come out a little bit differently, but in your options, you've got all these little, what do you call them? My mind's gone blank. You've got all these little options here you can use. So it's called fixed volume profile. So there is an option that you can calculate it manually. So if you press on that, you will see this little icon comes for all these little tools. So they're called tools. So if you click on there, then you can calculate it manually. You take that point, and I'm just going to go back 100 bars to the bottom there, and we can see, look at that. Mine's pretty accurate. So let's see who's got the best POC. I think mine's better. It's more accurate there, more accurate there. I think I beat the trading view indicator. So I'm just having a bit of fun, but that's how you would calculate it. So again, I'll show you if you want to calculate it manually. If you wanted to go back further than 100 bars, so you just click. So in this tool, you go down to fixed volume, fixed range volume profile. Click on that. It's that icon. And so you click, I'll go to the top of the wick. And say you wanted to go back more than 100 bars, you clicked on there, and you can see still mine pretty accurate, even going back further. We can see the POCs in a pretty similar place, but again, I like the accuracy of mine. So that's how you can calculate it manually. You can do that to any time frame. Let's just look at the 4-hour, and let's just calculate it manually. It may come out in a different place to mine. Mine is dynamic, and every single candle, it's recalculating the POC. When there's a big enough difference, that's when it moves. We'll have a look at it moving. So on the 4-hour, let's go from there to, that's a bearish candle, to there, and we're pretty close. So you can see, I think my POC gets a round of applause, pretty accurate on all time frames, except you don't have to do that manually. I've seen other strategies where you've got to calculate it manually. Every time you've got to put it in, and of course, after 10, 15 candles, it's no longer accurate. That's the advantage of TrendForce, that it's calculated dynamically, constantly updating. So if we just had a look at how it updates manually, let's just look at the 1 minute. We'll look at it a few time frames, and you'll see it move around. So it's good to look back and see how price action works. Now, I don't know if anyone else, let's just look at this trade. This is looking really good. Look at this gold trade now. We are flying up. We've gone up. Look at price action here. This is classic price action. If I had the trend table on, it would be orange on this time zone because we're not above the 2584 EMA, which we got here in teal. But you can see how there was a lot of compression here, and boom, price broke out, and it's hit that 4-hour trend zone. Wonderful free space. I haven't got any of the pivots on, but you can see classic price action. It looks for some form of resistance, and that was the resistance right there. Now, notice something when I've been testing that before replay. Let me just close replay completely, but some of you may not be familiar with replay. So there's this wonderful option where you can backtest indicators, backtest strategies by going to the replay trading option. And before, it didn't used to work. If you remember, it never worked on Heikin-Ashi candles. But now, TradingView must have heard us complain, because it's now working on Heikin-Ashi candles, which is great. So what you do is you go to the bottom of your screen, you'll see there's an icon here that says replay trading. You click on that, and then it says launch bar replay. We click that, and then we're going to close this box with a minus sign, and then basically this blue bar will appear, and you can go back as far as you want. So let's just go back and have some fun. Let's just go back to let's go back to where opening this morning. So around 10 o'clock, when the markets opened, about here. So if you click there, all right, so what it's going to do now, it's taken us back to 10 o'clock this morning, 8:59. That was the last candle of yesterday's session. So you can also, on the timing, you can set it here. You can go 1 bar per second, 3, you can make it very fast. You can choose your speed. And so we've now set up, then all you do is you press play. Now let's look at price action, how it unfolds with the POC. So right now the POC is sitting here, we're seeing, so this is going back to this morning. We can see how price respected it there, came back again, rejected, came back sideways, broke it. So let's see from market open this morning how that unfolded. So it takes a second. So we can see immediately it moved soon after opening, and you'll notice how much it does move. Sometimes it'll stay at the same place, but right now we're just interpreting the POC. Sellers are in control on the 1 minute. All right, so it's telling us sellers are all in control. We're below the POC. Let's just, every now and then we'll click on for a signal. There's no signal there, counter trend, but we're below the POC, so that didn't go anywhere. Still telling us sellers are in control. Sellers still in control. The POC hasn't moved, so still just gone up just a little fraction there. We're still looking at sellers. We're now at 10:45. So the PCA has dropped. POC is now dropped. It's moved. It's calculating dynamically. There was a bit of movement. Again, we can see how the POC is the equilibrium factor. It's kind of in the middle of this rangy area. Price is broken above. It's telling us buyers are trying to set the trend now. So above the POC, now we're below. So it is rangy. This time of the day can be rangy, but it's just to show you how it works dynamically. So we can see now price is still around the POC. POC is kind of just moving up and down, but not many pips at the moment as price is rangy. So hopefully we'll see a breakout soon. Then we'll look at a higher time frame. So now sellers are definitely looking like they want to push price down. POC showing us sellers are in control. Price is dropping. All right, so trying to have a bit of a pullback now. We're getting towards lunchtime. Price moving up, but still sellers are still in control. So every now and then we'll just click on an indicator to see what's happening. Okay, maybe we'll just press pause there quickly. So there was a signal here. We can see here a signal. We can see this is a great signal because here we go. We got a sell signal that's right below the POC. So whenever you get a signal that's right below the COC, this is obviously a sell going long here. That's a great signal because the reason is, remember I said that the POC is great for support and resistance. So if there's a slight pullback, there's a good chance that you get some support from the POC. So whenever I take a sell and the POC is this close, sometimes it's miles away, but when it's this close, it's good because it means if it is a quick pullback, you've got great support. We can see not a massive trade because it can be a bit rangy, but that hit great, TP3. So we can see now here we got a counter trend signal. Now that's more risky because we're below the POC. So I said earlier, counter trend signals are safer when the bullish ones are safer when they're above the POC. And likewise, bearish counter trend signals are safe below the POC. But this would have been risky. I mean, that did hit the TP, which is 1.5 to 1. But with it being below the POC, and that often happens, a lot of counter trend signals are below because the POC is being set by the market volume. And if it's high up, it means sellers have set it. So let's just look. We'll take the indicator off for a while and just see how gold plays out on the 1 minute. So it'll take a while to get going. So you can see price came up, clear rejection of the POC. So there you can see it was a pivot point coming back to test. Nope, moving down. We can see a bit of an M pattern there, but now price is broken above. Buyers are trying to take control again. Sellers, so we are a bit rangy at the moment. And here we go. Let's just see. We'll just let it play out. There was another sell. Let's just pause there and look at that signal. We can see there was another good signal. Again, when you get a sell signal right below the POC, we're trending nicely. We're below the 233, which is our 15-minute trend. A sell signal close to POC, that's a great signal. So let's just see how that played out. We press play again, and let's see how that trade played out. Not always massive volume this time of the day. Here we got our white warning candle. Price dropping, sellers definitely in control, price moving down. I don't know if there's going to be volume there. I can't remember this trade. I didn't take it. It wasn't on the charts then. So let's just take the indicator off. And now we get into after lunch. Still sellers in control. The POC's dropped. That's a good sign because it means there's good support there, good resistance, but again, rangy, price breaking up. Let's just speed it up a little bit more. We'll take it up to 3 times, so it'll quickly play out now. You can see again, rejection of the POC. It's moving dynamic. Let's just press pause here again and see if we got a signal. It would have been counter trend. So we now at lunchtime. Let's just see if we had a signal then. Okay, there was a counter trend signal way back then, took above the POC, so now the signal. We'll just let it play through until I think we got the idea here, and we'll just look at one higher time frame. You can see buyers clearly in control. We rejected that strong level of support. And again, the POC is now not moving, because that is still where it's at. Buyers in control. We're still on the same level, 3,310, moving slightly. Buyers still in control, coming to the afternoon session now, New Zealand. Okay, POC is moving now. So it's moved right up to here. And we're in range. Can we see this is called equilibrium, what I've mentioned. We're in range, price breaking above and below. The buyers and sellers can't work out who's in charge. The sellers now look like they are getting back. We're below the POC, moving down. Let's just see where this one goes. Sellers still in control, moving down. And we maybe just, let me just speed it up a little bit more, and then we'll look at one high time frame before I hand back to Ty. So again, we can see sellers are well in control. Yeah, we're way below the POC. And the more static it stays, the more the seller's in control. So we can see that line hasn't moved. So strong bearish momentum. But again, price does always move back to the POC. As I said, that it's moved now. But breaking below, that's good, because when it moves down, that's a good sign that price is going to move even lower. So sellers definitely set in the agenda. Look, price came up. Look at that. Perfect pivot off the POC there. Now buyers are trying to bite back. We can see we've broken above the POC. And price is moving up, moving up, moving up. So POC, if it's staying static at the same level, it means the buyers are still in control. Hasn't moved. Buyers still in control, but price will always return. Now that's a good sign. When the POC moves up, that means buyers definitely in control. So there we go, price moving up, moving up. You can see how we rejected that level there. We're getting close to live, price coming back, buyers still in control. Then we'll just look at the 4 hour after this before we go back to Thai. So I think you're getting the idea. So you can see this is dynamic. So that's the strength. Obviously, it's moving very quickly now, but if you're trading, each one of these is 1 minute. It wouldn't be as quick. There's a great entry. Let's just see what the trend was. I'm just going to quickly, there was a buy signal. So we're almost where we are now, almost live. So there we go, sellers in control, below the POC. Sellers are now pushing price down. And there was a move up, I think that's where it ended. We're almost catching up an hour away. Only take another 20 seconds or so. So I think we're getting the idea. This, you can see how it's constantly plotting. It's at the same level. It means the sellers were in control. Sellers still in control, but the buyers trying to push price up. And now we're almost back to where we are live. A few more candles, buyers again. Strongly controlled POC, way above the POC. So when that moves up again, it means buyers are strongly in control, setting the agenda, and we're back to live. So you can see, let me just turn this all, I want to change it to the 4 hour quickly, but you can see again here, just price action, how important the POC is to understand how price works. Again, price broke it, came up, tested it, broke down, came up sideways, and eventually, boom, and off price went. Where was that signal? Where was that signal there? There was no, I've turned off buy momentum. There would have been a buy momentum signal somewhere there. So if we just look at the 4 hour, so this will look completely different. So we won't go back as far. So again, if we just look at how the POC moves with price action. So let's just select the bar. So now we can go back quite far. Maybe it's not allowing me to do it in the 4. Maybe you can't do it on this higher. Let me just try reload it again. Exit. Maybe it's too much launch bar replay. Let's just see if we can do it. Yes, here we go. So let's just go back. And this is going back to June already. So to June, but it won't take long to play out. So this is looking at price action with the POC on the 4 hours. So again, we can see how effective the POC is. Price broke up, came below, broke up, broke below. We can see again exactly how it came right down, kissed it over there, and moving up. So let's just see how this plays out. So this will move quickly. I've got it at 5 times. Let's watch the POC with the 4 hours. So we can see buyers in control, buyers still in control. Sellers trying to push price down. It is moving quite quickly. I mean, we're going to go very quickly here because we spend a lot of time here. So still sellers in control. Buyers trying to push price up. You can see it's quite dynamic. Range, price broken below. Sellers trying to push it down. Buyers trying to push price up. We can see when it remains static, when it moves a lot, it's range. We can see there's been a lot of range on gold. But here, there we can see price breaking well above. Let's just press pause for a second just to see what was happening with the indicator. There we go. There's a good example. If you swing trading, just wanted to pause here. We can see there we got a buy signal and you're right above the POC. That's a great place to get a signal. Whenever you get a signal close to the POC, price tends to move up. Here there was a buy signal. The move wasn't as big. We're below the POC, so that would have carried some risk, although that could have moved from then. But those are good signals to get whenever it's close to the POC. So let's just play this out. We're almost back to where we are. I think we are live again. Here we go. So we are back. So I think I've covered everything. So let's just go back to the 1 minute. So I don't know if there are any questions there or not. Let's just turn
There are a few. Can you see them, or shall I read them to you?
I can't see them I can't see them at all.
Okay, I'll start. Let me just find my place here. I think you may have covered it initially, and I sort of answered it. Zeph was asking about like how the POC appears on different time frames and how it would look different. I think you're kind of showing it in this when you drew manually, because how many bars is it set to? 100 currently?
Yeah, it's set to 100.
Yeah. So when you're drawing it manually, you're drawing, it's taking in and sucking information from the previous 100 bars. And so if you're sucking information from the previous 100 bars on a 1 minute, that is going to be locked into it's going to be what, how many minutes is there in them? I mean, that's
1 hour 40.
It's not even a 4 hour candle. So it's going to be somewhere within that 4 hour candle. But if you zoom out to a 4 hour chart, you're now looking at the last 104 hour candles. So naturally it's going to be in a different place as you change that time frame. Yeah, or 100, etc. So I hope that answers your question, Zeph. I did type in that, but yeah, it is going to look different on different time frames because it's pulling further back, like more and more information to show where all those buyers were or sellers. Another one from Mark. It said, "How strong is the POC for price pulling back towards it? Is it the same as the zones?"
Yes, yeah, it is. I mean, price will always go back to the POC. The difference with the zones is they're a little bit more static, so they are basically calculating, like a moving average. If it's a 21 moving average, it's looking at, the last 21 bars. If it's on the 1 minute, the last 21 minutes. So that's not going to move up and down, where our POC is dynamic. So that is going to move quite a bit as price action changes. So I don't know. Did I answer the question, Tom?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's the thing. It's like the averages. So think about this: that the moving averages in the zones are the average of the candles in terms of the way they're going up and down. Like the specific points of those candles are projecting those averages. But the POC is getting its information based on the volume. So their level of trades being placed at those levels. That's what volume is. So when you load TradingView for the very first time, it'll have the volume indicator. Dad, I don't know if you want to pull that up, like just for kicks, so we can see that it's like a histogram on the bottom, and it's showing the volume per, like a vertical volume indicator, showing the amount of volume per bar. So if you're zooming out on a super high time frame, like whether it's Bitcoin or gold, you're going to see when price was at very, very low levels, there were most likely huge volume spikes. So the lower, like, I mean, just for kicks, I mean, I'm testing a theory here, but you can see there where that red candle is touching the volume indicator on the left. That's where price was the lowest. And you can see that was, there was a lot of selling momentum at that point. And then when price shuffled, now we're seeing buyer volume show up. And you can see the levels in that volume in terms of the amount of orders that are being placed. So the volume is showing us the amount of orders that are actually being placed. So it's not the average of price action as such. It's more, where are people pushing the button? Where are people happy to buy? Where are people happy to sell? So that is going to look different on different time frames. It might take a little while to get your head wrapped around that, but that particular volume indicator is just showing us per candle on that histogram. But the point of control is drawing those averages more based on looking back and compiling it all, which goes into really the next question. So Tim was asking, since it's a lagging indicator and showing us the history, it won't ever show where price action will go beyond it returning back to it. So it can obviously act as some form of a magnet, because essentially we're talking about the fair value that someone's prepared to buy or sell something for. So a lot of fundamentals have to change for the POC to move up and up and up and up and up and up and up forever and ever. Like, I mean, gold, higher demand for gold, higher demand for Bitcoin, whatever you want to say, is going to cause that average of the last 100 bars to go up and up if there's an overall trend moving up. But for us on the lower time frames, that thing is just going to show where a lot of the orders are based on, even around the opens. It'd be really interesting to go and check London Open, New York Open, and going and checking where, because that's where a lot of the orders get placed. Like the first half an hour of the New York session, you're going to see some of the biggest amounts of volume for the day. So it is a little different in that it is showing us the history of the previous 100 candles of where all the action is taking place. And you could even compare it, chuck on that normal volume indicator and see how they correlate, and just start to learn about volume and orders, because essentially people are pushing buy and pushing sell. I mean, some people trade off order books. That is a whole other thing. When you're looking at all of the orders coming in on the fly, the buyers and the sellers, the amount of people buying and selling right now on the fly, it is a very, very different way to interpret the supply and demand and what people are willing to buy or willing to sell at. And because not everyone is trading on leverage like we are. Some people are buying and selling the actual asset of, say, gold. But yeah, hopefully that answers a bit of that. It's interesting to see, but how am I to interpret the placement of the POC in relation to price action? That's a good question. Dad, good luck with that one.
I thought that was addressed to you, Ty.
Oh, okay. Well, I've talked enough.
No, just teasing.
It's interesting to see, but I'll read it again. How do I interpret the placement of the POC in relation to price action? Good question.
Yeah, well, basically, you just see it as resistance and support. I mean, what else can I say? Price is always going to return to it. It's going to move. So, I mean, I use it mainly for myself. Resistance and support is one of the main reasons why I use it. So it's basically telling you where you're going to have strong levels of resistance and support. So for me, that is the key. And we never trade through it, we trade to it.
Yeah, it is. Until given fresh information, treat it like any line on your chart, which is support and resistance. Every moving average, any line is potential support or resistance. Once you break through something, you could retest it, obviously. But unless it moves, treat it like support and resistance. So even if you just throw a point of control into Google, guys, you're going to get obviously a bit of Gemini AI and some other things that will pop up. But the top themes that will show up if you're reading about it and doing more research, it's talking about obviously volume, it's talking about the high volume zone, it's talking about fair value. That's what we just mentioned, what people are prepared to pay, buying or selling. And then support and resistance is the next biggest key of those three. So that's essentially how we're going to treat it. We're going to say, like we want to be, if we're above it, we want to be looking to buy. If we're below it, we want to be selling. We don't want to be pushing sell if the POC is right below us, because there are a lot of orders sitting there. There's a potential support zone. And if we're above the POC, it's more like if price is moving away from an upward direction, then it might be fair to say that buyers have put in all of their buy orders and price is starting to move away from where all of the orders were placed. I hope that's making sense. Dad, you can probably illustrate that with your mouse. It's like that POC right there showing all that volume. You can see that there were a whole lot of orders that were placed at that level. And then look how when price shoots up, the volume shrinks. So in all those green candles, we have almost like this empty void of volume between the top there, that whole zone. Yeah. You can see how price then rockets up, and then there's less FOMOing happening at that point with big money. There's retail traders that don't move the market that might be FOMOing in, but big money is not entering those moves when they're already moving. When you start to see that, it'll shift the way that you look at charts, because big money is getting in long before us. They're the ones moving the market. So they're going to put in their orders, just like how stop hunts work. They're going to move price towards certain zones to grab the liquidity that they need to then move the market in the other way. But once price starts moving, big money has made its move. And then it's moving because they have placed all of those orders. And not getting into the science of A books and B books and how those things all work on the back end, but you can see it demonstrated so well there. When that price is rocketing up, big money's not really buying anymore. They've already bought. And so then it's a case of realizing, okay, how do we join the trend when big money's joining it and not FOMOing in during that trend? Anyway, I'm waffling about the same thing.
That's good, Ty. Good.
Okay. Comments on the POC. This is F. Action on the NAS. Price seems to have slowed down since the POC. What are we looking at? We're looking at gold at the moment.
Well, let's go to the NAS quick.
Yeah. That's click over. Yeah. So check it out. We had a run up. I mean, it'd be quite interesting. I mean, it's dynamic. So right now, yeah, it's showing the average volume of the last 100 bars. And so naturally it's kind of sitting in the range. But earlier it was probably sitting right where Dad's cursor is, because that looks like a bunch of range. And then it would be interesting to see, the volume as it rose up. But yeah, at the moment we're below it. So you're not going to be, trying to buy right now when you're below it, but rather, waiting to see. Let's see. I don't know. I have no idea what this is going to look like, but I'm assuming it should be. Yeah, there we go. It was there. So once price got above that, we would be entering that safer zone to buy.
Take it down to 3 times, just so it doesn't go too quickly.
And maybe for kicks, chuck the indicator on so we can see that as it the break above. So there we go. Bounced off the 233. That's a good reset. So once we get above, and we may or may not get a signal depending on, if we got a double touch of the 233, that's also good. Buy signal above, and one little pullback into the zone, and then up it goes. And now it'll just probably hop up quite aggressively to get up there. But I mean, yeah, look at that hum. Once that zone starts separating, I mean, the POC is obviously one piece of what we're doing. Again, I just love looking at that double touch on the 233, breaking above, and then above. Yeah. That's what we're really looking. We're going to draw more information from that. But obviously tonight is so that we can understand what the heck is the point of control and start to understand volume. Because understanding the bigger game of volume and orders, it does take you a little bit deeper down the rabbit hole of how trading all happens at a zoomed out scale with all the big money. It's not really the day one thing to understand and grasp, but right there, once that signal showed up above, when it was above the POC at that point in time, price then moved. Hope that answers a little bit of that action there, Zeph, on the NAS. Marcus, good example on the NAS. Okay, there we go. Currently, big move up. There we go. So I'm just reading this late. Lots of range at the high. POC jumped up to the high. You called it. So there you go. Answering the question for us. First 1 minute jumped up, then the 2 minute, then 3 in POC. Yeah, there we go. Brilliant. Zeph, I still holding a position from that, but before that explosion, waiting for that POC to move. Okay, so hang on. So you were in that buy, and it's been rocketing up, and here we go. Okay, so on high time,
8 minutes. Looking at the 8 minutes here.
Yeah, so just checking that. I mean, all those orders looking at that range zone, the average, it sucked it up to where it is now, and it's probably not going to move higher anytime soon based on the average of the last 100 candles. Might take a little while. I mean, Dad, you can comment on what's likely for it to happen, but that buy signal looks pretty good on that.
Look at this buy signal. This was at 7:52 this morning, and it's got 124 pips.
I've got lots to say about the 8 minute chart, and we won't even dare start talking about version 4 just yet. But let's just say there's lots going on behind the scenes. But the 8 minute, I mean, Dad, I don't know if you want to say anything more about it, but it is incredible to reference. Yeah,
I mean, it's honestly, I think I just got revelation. The ratio of the 1, 3, and 8. There's just something. It's a winning combination. And Taz let out the bag. We got a version 4 coming. Still, I'm just testing it. It's phenomenal. Same rules, same strategy, but way, way easier to read a chart. And the holy grail is being able to trade off one chart, not multiple charts. That's what I'm working hard towards. So version 4 will make it in certain conditions easy to just trade off one chart.
Or one phone, if you can imagine where that leads. If you don't have to look at multiple timeframes at once, it's a whole lot easier on your phone.
Yeah.
But yeah, the scientist, the math genius is not stopping. He is still developing and making it easier and easier and easier. So hopefully you won't all have to get giant screens like me to split it all up in different time frames. This next version, which it'll land when it lands, guys. We're never gonna do a big update without really having it honed, tested, refined, etc. But right now, it's just a case of making things better and smoother and simpler.
Yeah.
And so everything we have right now is great. It's just a case of how can we make things better?
I mean, Ty knows my 60 pip win this morning. I've got to be honest, I posted the photo. I had to change back to version 3 to put the photograph, but I was trading off version 4 and it was so easy, that trade. One glance told me that trade was going to move. So it's exciting, man. It's going to come.
When you can see multiple time frames overlaid on top of each other in a healthy, easy digest way, it makes it very easy to have that confidence in a split second, because you're not having to try and overlay your brain between different time frames looking at them. So there's a few little clues for you. But Dad, how much do you want to give away in terms of what's going to be announced at the live event? You can say nothing right now, or you can just leave it for that, because only people that are in the room are going to hear it, and then obviously you guys will hear the rest of it in the room.
You're getting yeah. Well, there's a good addition to the MACD. That's the main thing, and I'll say it on Sunday night. The addition is to help us moving towards trading off one screen, and towards version 4. So I've already got a version 4 MACD, but you're still on version 2.2, I think. So you're going to get version 3. And then when we release version 4 of the main indicator, then you'll get version 4 of the MACD. But this is a stepping stone coming on Sunday night.
And it's pretty awesome. That's all we're going to say for now. But it's, there's a few surprises on Sunday night. So all of you will get to hear about it eventually through the recording. It takes me a little while to get those chopped up and edited, because sometimes there's multiple camera angles and such. So we're still figuring out what we're going to do Tuesday night, because Sunday night we have the event. I'll definitely won't most likely have it edited by that Tuesday. If we do something on Tuesday, it'll be live, and the recording of the live event will be posted after the fact. But yeah, guys, just looking at that price action right there, trend line break, a signal. The MACD obviously would have been in alignment for that signal to fire off anyway. Not excited about Nando's anymore, more about the MACD. Vicar says, oh mate, when that chicken's in front of you, you're going to forget about the MACD, I promise. So cool to see a bunch of you guys filling in that form as well. Really appreciate that. We have still got space. Someone was messaging me just a moment ago saying, am I too late? No, the cutoff will be Wednesday night, New Zealand time, because on Thursday, we are going to be just making sure the room is at least physically set with enough tables and chairs. And then we're going to be good to go, guys. So Sunday, 5:30 arrival, 6, a bit of mingling and hanging out. 6 p.m. dinner is served. We're gonna sit down for at least, close to an hour to be able to spend some time together, relationship building, Q&A with each other, all of that. And then, we'll take a cool fun group photo, transition over to our live in-person training, and have that for about 40 plus minutes, some Q&A, and be aiming to be officially wrapped up definitely by around 8, and then we can just keep hanging out for those that want to. And I know some might have to drive. Again, I'm sure Zeph is just stoked that he doesn't have to drive all the way back to football. Just checking the chat again. Me and Ali will go to Nando's and Frank's. There we go. Les, you guys can have some in Aussie until you get here. Wendy, wish I could be there on Sunday, but have a clash. Honestly, I know some people have had clashes and messaged me. I know someone else has their, I know it's Alanda's birthday and her family planned something for her. So we always struggle to choose a time. We're never going to please everyone. I think most of us might agree that usually Sunday nights are the most blank nights in our calendar, unless you're running a service on a Sunday night. But otherwise, a Saturday night's almost impossible, because people have 21st and birthdays and this and that. There's normally something on a Saturday night. Friday nights, if people are traveling from outside of Auckland as well, it just feels like it can get tricky with traffic midweek, etc. So we've landed on Sunday night, and it's been working pretty well in the past. But you can let us know if you think there's a much more genius night for us to do. But I feel like Sunday is so far the winner. Anyway, Mark, I would love to be there so much, but travel, yeah, I get it, bro. The Netherlands is not quite a hop, skip, and a jump, is it? But it's good to see you, at least now. And I love it, guys. That's the beauty of this, right? Like we are, there's there's so many of you. It's funny how you realize when you see each other face to face, you haven't how long you haven't seen each other face to face, but it feels like you've had that much more connection. Like I saw Zeph on church on Sunday. I was like, we actually haven't seen each other in person for a very long time, but we chat quite often, so it didn't feel like it either. So anyway, good times, guys. The joys of doing life digitally and face to face where possible. But doing this so that we can have as much of a location neutral life as possible. So keep trading is all I'm going to say, and then you can enjoy more travel. Otherwise, I don't know if we've got any other questions. We're now just getting into the ramble and semi banter zone of the evening where we're talking longer than we should. But really looking forward to seeing you guys this weekend, guys. It is. Yeah, it's actually, most of you probably know it's Dad's birthday on Monday, so we're definitely going to be still having some celebrations on Sunday. Birthday presents are starting to happen already, which is quite fun, but otherwise, we'll save the rest for Sunday. Dad, if you can unshare, and I'll... let me do this. Gallery. There we go. I can see you all. I don't have to pin myself, or we can see a bunch of you. So cool to see you guys. Thank you for being on with us live tonight. Thank you for watching this recording later. Again, please do me that favor and head over to my Facebook wall or Dad's. It's on both of our walls. And just light up the comments on that post or tag someone even more so. You're welcome to share it, but even if you send it, it helps indicate. If you just send it and message, like you can click share and you can either share it to you all, you can share it in Messenger, and it can send it to anyone who you think you feel like, hey, this is the journey I'm on. I remember you asking me about trading before. This is how I'm doing it. Whatever. It's super fun to be able to help people figure this stuff out because, later down the track, it's so much fun to be a part of someone's story. Like, I mean, everyone's in a different timeline for when things click from the I'm learning this to I'm earning from this. And that's just a case of time and consistency. So if you play a part in that role, you never know what that feels like. Years down the track, someone might be able to say, man, I would never have done this without you. Like, I would never have gotten into this unless Jono decided to tell me about it. And now the world of trading and crypto has completely changed our family's lives. And obviously my folks, and obviously all of you guys. So anyway, really appreciate that. Otherwise, we will wrap it up there. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And we will see you guys in the chat.
Yeah, thanks for joining us
on Sunday night. All right, guys. Well, we'll leave it there.
Good night.
Have a wonderful evening. Good night.